What do you call an asteroid wrapped in bacon? A meteor. What's going on, YouTube? So today we got something a little bit different, and that is a review of Starfield, because honestly, I have now played about 21 hours of Starfield. It's a 3-day weekend, don't judge me. And I really wanted to give you guys my thoughts because I have been talking about it on stream, restreamed it, and I wanted to kind of do a comprehensive, no spoiler review of the game based on 3 specific areas. Those 3 elements are story, gameplay, and RPG elements. And we're going to directly be kind of referencing other Bethesda games like Fallout and, Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind, but also potentially some competition too, such as Starfield, No Man's Sky. How does this game compare to those games? What does it do differently? What does it do better? What are its drawbacks, and so on and so forth. And throughout the entirety of this review, you'll see no spoiler footage. In fact, I pulled a lot of pre-rendered footage that was in their trailers. That way there wouldn't be any spoilers, throughout just the actual recording of this video. So let's start off with story. And this is where I think this game truly shines. A lot of people are probably expecting some generic, oh, you're a grand explorer who's exploring things, and it's just very simplistic. It is not. There's a reason why every single review of this game doesn't talk about the storyline past a certain point. Because the storyline, in my opinion, is phenomenal. It's in-depth, it's intuitive, and that's just the main story. There's plenty of factions you can join to, including if you wanted to be a space pirate. There's a whole faction dedicated to that, but more so focused on the main storyline. They did not go the traditional route of doing something generic and boring. They really went above and beyond, in my opinion, and made sure to do something unique and different, but also intriguing, that also really loops well into an end game kind of loop that you can continue without spoiling anything else. That's the best way I can describe it. If you know, you know. The story starts off relatively humbly with you collecting these rare artifacts, and it quickly adds plot elements and depth to it that I think honestly are exceptionally well done. You'll join Constellation as seen on screen, collect those artifacts, and you and your team are going to uncover the mysteries of the universe, which sounds honestly even better than I can phrase it. It was amazingly well done, and I'm very happy on the actual main storyline of the game. If I had to compare the storyline to other Bethesda games, I would say that it beats out Skyrim, Oblivion, and probably just falls short of Fallout New Vegas, but it does some elements better in its endgame loop that Fallout New Vegas doesn't do. But as far as actual storyline comparisons, I would say it really falls between Fallout New Vegas and right above Skyrim. Now let's talk about gameplay. So, gameplay is obviously important. It determines your loop, determines what you do when you log into a game, and it really determines, how things go between your big story elements. Before you're doing those cool plot cutscenes, and you're doing those cool, story moments. Got to get there through the gameplay. So what's it like in Starfield? And I can honestly say that I, with you, really enjoyed the gameplay of Starfield. In fact, you're seeing right now our stream that we did together, and a lot of you guys really enjoyed what you were seeing. Ironically, a lot of you guys didn't want to watch because you did not want to see what happens in the story. So this is really just going to be some isolated footage to me just screwing around. But what I would say, though, is that there's a lot of pros, but there are some cons. So let's start with the pros. I thought that there was a lot of weapon diversity. I thought that the upgrade elements were very well done. I thought that they had so many cool systems, such as ship building, outpost building. The skill lines were done very, very well, in my opinion. The persuasion was very well done. Very few times in a game do you ever really see where persuasion is done well. And unlike in Fallout 4, the dialogue is done significantly better than it has been before. For those of you who remember Fallout 4's dialogue, it was exceptionally frustrating. It would give you like a one-sentence dialogue option and you'd say something completely different. There are some less than perfect systems, though. I was not a fan of the lockpicking system. I was very confused on stream as to how it was meant to work. I still am admittedly still a little bit confused as to how it was supposed to work. I know kind of what they're trying to do with it, but sometimes it just seems exceptionally complicated. And I will tell you that if you get good at lockpicking, you can actually skip a lot of hard elements. It's like any RPG. You get through hard persuasion checks or you get through hard hacking things. You can easily move on into next kind of story elements. Usually skipping fights and skipping, parts of dungeons and whatnot. And I unfortunately was not very good at it. I was not a fan of this system versus pretty much every other game's, Skyrim's lockpicking system, Fallout's lockpicking system, and Fallout 76's lockpicking system. Was not a fan of it. And overall, combat, I would say, feels very well done, but there's a slight caveat that I will note that it feels even better once you get to a certain point in the main story mission. I don't want to spoil anything, but I would say it's kind of like Skyrim pre and post certain story elements where you get the ability to do some new things. So I thought overall that was very well done and that there was a lot of positives to that. And now let's talk about those RPG elements, because what RPG is good without good RPG elements? And this is where the game really shines, in my opinion, in that there's so many side quests that are unique and thought out. There might be ones where you're phasing in and out of different realities and you have to pick and choose different decisions that affect one or the other. You might, find people, from a bygone era. You might have to help, settlers. Every quest seems like it was very well done, and there was a lot of attention to detail in the choices and outcomes and the rewards that you would receive for making those choices. And that is where this game honestly hits its high heights for me, is in those RPG elements. But with that too, you also have those great, persuasion tactics. You have those great storytelling elements. And this will honestly be probably your best experience in the game, is when you're just going out and doing those side quests and you're just talking to different individuals and really enjoying all of that the game has to offer with its dialogue, with its world building, because you could find yourself in a western town, then you can find yourself on a paradise planet, then you can find yourself in a pirate's haven. There's so much diversity to this game, and we haven't even talked about the diversity in the planets. You could find yourself just exploring planets and killing dinosaurs all day, and there's nothing wrong with that too. There's so much to this game that it is actually exceptionally well done in this regard. So where does that leave us? And it leaves us in an absolutely phenomenally well done RPG. If you really enjoyed games like Skyrim and Fallout, you are going to absolutely love this universe, its storytelling, its RPG elements, and its gameplay. I have found myself playing this game for hours, and it feels as though not that much time has passed, because all I'm doing is going out either exploring or just doing fun side quests, and time will absolutely fly by. My experiences with bugs have been minimal. In fact, I didn't even have my first crash until after I beat the main storyline, and I can't say that there's been any sort of game debilitating bugs throughout this experience, which is unfortunate because some of them are rather funny on Skyrim, and I thought I could maybe clip them up and put them in some shorts, but unfortunately haven't been any of those. It's immensely popular systems. I hope you guys really enjoy this game like I have, and I have to say, well done, Bethesda. You did a good job, and I think this will go down as a game that has done and will do exceptionally well versus its competitors. I do think that some of those competitors do things differently. For example, the comparisons to No Man's Sky, I think, are not very well warranted in the fact that I feel like those are two very different games. I feel like No Man's Sky is really focused on the exploration elements versus Starfield, which is much more focused on RPG storyline elements. So those are how the two kind of compare. For example, when you go load up No Man's Sky, you're probably not going to be doing any sort of main story. You're going to be focusing on your exploration and discovery, versus here, your exploration and discovery is almost kind of propelled by the main storyline. Another comparison this game is going to be is towards Outer Worlds. I think that everything in this game is done better than Outer Worlds, and that's someone who really enjoyed Outer Worlds. I think unfortunately Outer Worlds just didn't have any sort of in-game depth to it. It really focused on its story elements versus Starfield has an immensely better storyline. Not only that, but it really also has an exploration element. You really feel like you might be the first person to drop on a world and see something unique and beautiful that no other player has. And that's the kind of experience that I remember, back in 2011 when Skyrim was released for the first time, and I was seeing these mythical creatures. I was playing the day of release, and it just had that exciting feel to it. And you will feel that level of excitement here, but to a higher degree, because you might see something that no other player has, and everybody might have already been playing, a week, 2 weeks, a month of the game. And that's where I think that this is really going to be an RPG to stand the test of time. So I can confidently say that in the next decade or so, this will probably remain in your top 3 best Bethesda games ever released. If you're like me, you'll always hold certain ones near and dear to your heart. For me, it's Oblivion, and some of you, it will be Starfield. And even if it isn't Starfield, this game will have something for you, more than likely. I'm excited to hear what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jake Clips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.
I know this isn't an ESO video, but I just had to point out how great this game was, and I would definitely be willing to make more videos on it just because of how enjoyable the experience has been playing it. There's so many cool elements that I feel like almost need an in-depth breakdown, like, how to successfully be a pirate, how to join this faction, how to find this, how to do that, because there's just so many cool systems that it might be helpful to do continued content on it. I'm definitely up for it. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you later. Peace.